There are a lot of people who comment on my videos who ask me questions like, how do you do the hovering effect, or how does it look like this? And most of the time what they're talking about is making the project feel alive. Like they'll say, how do you do the hovering effect or the slow movement shake effect? But really all it is just handheld shake. And I realize how many people don't actually know how to make projects feel alive in Premiere Pro. So that's why in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to make your projects look like this instead of this. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Tactical VFX and I'm a gaming video editor from Australia. And here is some of my work on the screen now, just so you know I'm not bullshitting and I actually know how to edit. So I'm going to be giving you 3 tips or tricks, with the most important one being at the end. Let's get started. Now, first things first, the most simple and effective thing you can do to make a project look more alive or an image feel alive is none other than drop shadow. Drop shadow gives stuff a 3D look because, well, it gives it a shadow. Instead of having a bland image like this, it'll turn into this. It's a subtle difference, but it makes all the difference. So for the drop shadow, here are the settings I use. You can save it as a preset or just wait until the end of the video. I have a little surprise for you, so just keep watching for that. Now, once you have drop shadow on your image, we're gonna get a little bit more flashy. You know when you look at some of my animations or other editors' animations, PNGs, and it has a little spark to it, like something movements, shakes, and drop shadows can't replicate? Those effects I like to call sparkers. They give everything that little bit of oomph you're looking for. Sparkers are generally glows, flickers, vignettes, those kind of little effects. You can stack them all up and they just look amazing. If you have Sapphire plugins, which I 100% recommend for any editor, I couldn't edit without Sapphire. It's the best plugin in the whole editing game. The best sparker effects are S_glow, S_flicker, S_raise, and S_vignette. For BCC plugins, I also recommend these plugins if you're an editor. I don't recommend them as much as Sapphire. Sapphire is a must for me. BCC is a very good plugin. I definitely recommend it, but it's not a need. So for BCC plugins, it's OBS Lens Blur. It's the best blur in the whole Premiere Pro in my opinion. I use it more than any blur because it comes with this sharpening gamma effect to it, which I really like. But if you don't have it, you can go and use Gaussian blur, and I'm pretty sure if you add a little bit of sharpen to it and brightness, it might replicate the same effect. I haven't tried it, but Gaussian blur, if you don't have BCC plugins, you don't have to call those kind of effects sparkers. That's just a little name I came up with. But just think of those effects as like a staple for adding more to your project or making things more active and alive. Like I mentioned earlier, I've gotten so many comments asking, how do you do the hovering effect? How do you do the movement effect? A little subtle movement. What this effect is called, well, not the actual effect in Premiere Pro, but the name of it is called a handheld shake. It's not the hovering effect, it's not the slow movement, slow shake, it's called a handheld shake. Now the reason this is so important is because it makes still images move, so it's like alive and hover and, you know. So I pretty much add this onto every image, every PNG that I have on my screen, no matter what. Even if it's not doing anything, it's just that much better. There's lots of ways you can replicate the effect, but the best way is to use the Sapphire plugin S_shake. This is the best effect in the entire Sapphire plugin. I use it for almost every single edit I do. And I would get Sapphire alone just for this plugin. It's that good. You could argue it's also a sparker, but I feel like it holds so much value that I wouldn't even consider it like that. Now, in the link in the description, I'm going to include a link that'll give you 10 free presets of mine, including my drop shadow, my handheld shakes, some of my slides, for completely free. So that'll help you a lot. Go down there and download them once you're done watching this video. Don't do it now, it'll fuck up my retention, but go down there after you're done watching. Now, the most important thing out of all of this is to be creative in your own way. I can't see your project, so I can't tell you what to do. The best way to actually come up with ideas is to use the layering method. So obviously you have layers in Premiere Pro, but you're going to start with the most basic layer, which is like cutting, and you can do sound effects, not in this exact order, but this is how you build and stay creative. And you add a little bit more every layer you go up, and eventually you'll get to a point where you'll realize that you've got so much and it's so entertaining. Sometimes it's not that simple, but that's the best way I would recommend to, if you don't have ideas for editing, is to just add a different layer of something, or look at your project and think, what can I add to this? Even if it's just a few seconds, it can make all the difference. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video and you enjoy my editing, check out my editing pack. You don't have to buy it, the link's in the description. Like and subscribe to get more free editing guides, and comment what kind of videos you want to see next. I'll see you in the next one.